Hi there. Welcome to House of Knitting Podcast. I'm Kristen, your host or your hostess. I am Mama Holmes on Ravelry and Mama Holmes NC on Instagram. If you Twitter, do the tweet thing, I am the Mrs. K Holmes on Twitter as well. Welcome to my first episode. I'm so happy, so excited to have you in my home. I'm just thrilled. You may recognize me, some of you, from the Mama Knits podcast. I had a video podcast that I tried my hand at a couple years ago, and to be honest, it was just the wrong time. It didn't feel right, and so instead of just pressing myself to continue with it, I think I made it maybe 5 episodes or so. I just didn't feel like I wasn't very confident in who I was as a knitter and in the community of knitters, and so I decided to just sit back and quit podcasting. However, about a month or so ago, I really felt like I wanted to get back into it, and so here I am, and I'm glad that you are trying me out. This is my first episode, so just bear with me. I'm trying to get the lighting right and things like that. I know it might be just a little bit dark, but I think it'll be okay for what I want to show you today, and hopefully, maybe if I just scoot you over a little bit, the lighting will be a little bit better. So hi. So I want you just to grab your cup of coffee or tea or whatever you were drinking, water, and grab your knitting or your spinning and just come sit with me for a little bit. I first want to start out by talking about how I started knitting, and I am going to start with just the basic introduction to knitting. So I became introduced to knitting when I was 15. I come from a very crafty family. My mom used to be a very avid crafter, sewing, stitching, things like that. And I had a great aunt who is known as the crafter of the entire family. She does very creative projects for us as gifts every year, things like that. And when I was 15, I saw her knitting one day and I really wanted to learn what she was doing. She crocheted around me, but to be honest with you, I still don't really have an interest in just the one needle kind of thing. But the 2 needles just really looked very soothing to me and very interesting to me. And so she taught me just the basic knit stitch and taught me how to cast on, which a lot of people don't learn how to cast on when they start knitting, but she did teach me how to cast on. She taught me how to bind off, and I just knit lots of garter stitch scarves, and I really enjoyed it. It was really good therapy, I think. And as I got older, I kind of, you start something and it kind of just goes into a bag and gets hidden in a closet somewhere, and that's really what happened. After I graduated high school, moved away for a little bit, came back and met my now husband, I really started to get back into it. And we first got married. We got married in 2009, and he likes to watch sports, a lot of sports, really soccer, basketball, that kind of thing. And so a lot of our nights in that newlywed period were really just me sitting on the couch. I was still doing my undergraduate degree, so I would sit on the couch and he would watch TV, and I would just sit there like, I don't really want to do homework. What am I supposed to do? Oh, there goes the light. And so I went to Michael's, got some yarn, found a pattern book. I think it was a Lion Brand University Knits. It's very college inspired. Decided that I was going to knit my husband a scarf. Now, my husband is 6'3", so he's a pretty big guy. And he wanted a scarf that was pretty much as long as he was tall, so about 6 feet of scarf. So I knew to pick out like a chunky, bulky weight yarn because it would knit up pretty quickly, big needles, but it was cabled. It was just these really 2 big cables that ran all the way down the scarf. 6 feet of cabling, y'all. That's a lot of cabling. To this day, I don't really like to knit cables. So some people love cables. I don't like knitting cables. And I think it's because of that project. Maybe in about 10 years, I'll be okay with knitting cables, but we'll see. And so I knit the scarf. It took me forever. He's never worn it. I wear it every winter with my winter coat. I just wrap it up a few times. It's so warm because it's bulky weight and it's Lion Brand woolies, and I love it. I always get a lot of compliments from it, and chunky knits are really in right now, right? So I just wear it. He's never worn it. Go figure. But so once I started knitting, I would like Google things. The internet is an amazing thing. It's so amazing. And so I would sit at work. I worked a billing office job for a doctor's office, and just entered numbers all day long and took questions about bills. And I started wanting to listen to stuff about knitting. And so I just Googled one day, like knitting shows or whatever, however it came up. And the Knit More Girls came up. And Lion Brand podcast came up. And so for the first year or so, maybe, that's all I listened to was old episodes of the Knit More Girls. And I basically just like gunshot listened to all the Lion Brand stuff until I started listening one day, and they were talking about, I think they were interviewing Stephanie Jappel or Jappel, about her, how she was starting to do online knitting classes. And she was hosting a knitting class about making your own t-shirt yarn. And that seemed really interesting to me. So I took the class and got on Ravelry because she was on Ravelry, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I got bored with listening to podcasts. So I thought, well, maybe they're like this Stephanie Jappel's class is totally, live, like online, recorded. It's a video. So maybe there are like other things like this. And so I got into the Knit Girls and Just One More Bro podcast, which is an audio podcast. But they used to talk about a lot of video podcasts. So that's how I got into knitting, and just this whole world that is so big. You just don't realize how big it is. So that's me. That's how I got into knitting, and how I just have become obsessed. And isn't that crazy? Can you think of how you got obsessed with knitting? I would love to hear your story. Like, if you just want to message me on Ravelry, I think I'm going to start a Ravelry group for the podcast. So if you'll just shoot me a message on Ravelry, or when you find that group, if you'll just put your story in that group so I can read it. Like, I want to know how other people got obsessed with knitting, because I know I'm not the only one, right? I'm pretty sure. But I would love to hear your story. So just want to welcome you to the podcast. I'm so glad that you're with me. And today is just going to be a little bit about me, a little bit about what I'm knitting, what I'm doing. And I hope to try to get these out. I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm a grad student as well. So I kind of am not pretty busy, but I do have kind of a packed day. So like today, I have a 3-year-old son, and he's napping. And this is actually the second time that I've podcasted this specific episode, because last week I started podcasting, and about 15 minutes into the podcast, he woke up. And he's 3, so he's not just going to sit here and play while mommy's talking to herself in the camera or in the computer. It's not going to work. So hopefully I can get some stuff out to you today. But I hope to do this maybe every couple weeks, maybe once a month. We'll see. There are a lot of podcasts out there, so you won't get too bored without me. So why another podcast? That's a great segue, right? Well, I love what podcasts have done in my life, in my crafting life, in my social life. I've done I did a knitting retreat, my first knitting retreat in May, and connected with several different people, several different, created like relationships that had been online, but then were kind of translated into real life. And so I love this community, and I feel like I'm at a point where I can sit down and confidently share with you what I'm doing, because this is inspiring. It was inspiring to me. It still is. And so I hope that maybe there are some new knitters out there, or newer knitters out there, or that just have questions. And I want to be someone that you feel like you can ask those questions to, and maybe I can share some knowledge with you, or just help you to fall in love with the podcast world. So we'll see. But I feel like for me, knitting podcasts, the knitters are so awesome. And I know we hear that, but there's this real sense of community, I think, among knitters, and knitters that are really active online. I do have a knitting group, but I'm so busy that sometimes I really don't get to go as much as I would love to. And so a lot of my interaction with knitters is through things like this, or Instagram, or Ravelry, or knitting retreats. I'm going to the Carolina Fiber Frolic in November. Are you going? I hope you're going. I would love to meet you if you're going. If you're going and you're watching my podcast, you have to send me a message on Ravelry so that I know you're going to be there, so I can look for you. Yes, that's why I love this kind of stuff. But knitting retreats, knitting camps, as my husband calls them. He doesn't have a clue. I just love what this community has done for me, and I would really love to share that with somebody. And so that's what I feel like I can give back to the world. And I just wanted to take a second. I don't know if you know of Wendy from the Sassy Pants Knitter podcast. She's Silly Frou everywhere, but she's going through some things right now. She's such a warrior. She's such a goddess. She's amazing. But I just wanted to take a moment and just tell Frou, I am rooting for you. I'm in your corner, and you're gonna do this. You're gonna rock it. You're gonna get through it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go to the Sassy Pants Knitter podcast and watch her latest episode. You can also, there are some hashtags on Instagram that I will include in my show notes, because I'm going to do show notes. That will include the show notes that you can just go and you can kind of get a glimpse of what Frou is really going through right now. But I love how the community of knitters that are really rallying around her. And so I just wanted to take a minute and say to Frou that my prayers are with you, and girl, you're going to kick this in the butt. You are. Let's see. All right. So you're really here for the knitting, right? Right? You just want to see that I'm knitting, and then you're going to turn me off, and that's fine. I actually have a lot on the needles right now. Like, a lot. I think my whip pile is like 8 or 9 whips. I don't really put anything in like hibernation unless it's going to be ripped out. So if it gets like abandoned and I go back to it months later, it's either to finish it or to rip it out. I don't keep things in a bin longer than, I'm not that person that has whips in my, number one, I haven't been knitting that long, like really knitting that long, but I don't really put stuff in a bin and like let it sit for years. I just am not that kind of person. I'm a very gotta be tidy, gotta have everything has to have its place kind of person. And so if I find projects or whatever, I just did a big destash because of yarn and fiber project bags because I had too much and I didn't have where to put it. So I'm that kind of person. So I'm just going to share with you, there's a knit along going on right now. Sorry for all the noise, I'm trying to get comfortable. There's a knit along going on right now on Instagram. It's through the My Sister's Knitter blog, or My Sister Knitters blog. I can't remember. Like I said, it'll be in the show notes. But she's doing a cowl for all of your whips, and it's hashtag MSK Tackling Whips Cowl, KAL. And It's a knit along that's running now. I think it started like September 1st or August 1st or something like that. And it's running through December. So you have a lot of time to knock out your WIPs before the new year. And I'm really working to do that because, like I said, I have 8 or 9 on the needles. I'm not going to show you all 8 or 9 today. Excuse me, you will see them hopefully between this podcast and the next couple of podcasts, just because I'm trying to get them all done. I really want to cast on other stuff. I'm like in this sweater knitting mode. I have 3 sweaters on the needles right now. One is literally almost done if I can just focus on it, and then the other 2, one is like a bulky weight that should be finished, but I can't. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But so I'm going to just work through what I'm actively working on, and then I'm going to talk to you about something that I finished a while ago, but it still counts. And then I'm going to talk to you about some purchases that I've made. I don't make many purchases. I really don't. One, because we're a 1-income family. And 2, because I don't, like I mentioned, I don't really have the space for a huge amount of yarn that's not being knit. So, there you go. I'm kind of struggling with where to look right now because I'm using my desktop. And here's my face, like where my hand is, and then here's the camera. And I want to look at my face so that I'm actually looking at somebody. But I realize that it probably makes more sense to look at the camera. So I'm like going back and forth. Anyway, you don't really care about that, do you? No. It's okay. So I'm going to talk to you really quickly about this is not even on my list, but I've been knitting on it for 2 days now. These are socks for my husband. Now, if you're playing along at home, you heard me say that I knit him a scarf that he's never worn. I'm knitting him socks that he had better wear because he has a size 12 foot. I am a little bit lazy in the fact that this sock is an ankle sock. I'm testing the waters to see if he really wears it. Okay, so the yarn, first of all, it's living in my Suburban Stitcher bag, she has a podcast. She's amazing. I met her at the Into the Wool retreat. Diane, the beautiful, talented, wonderful Diane. She's also part of my inspiration for podcasting. She has these beautiful bags that she sells on Etsy. Suburban Stitcher is the name of her Etsy shop. So this is my bag that she has. It's kind of girly for some man socks, but it works. She has these really, I love little details like this that you actually have. I'm trying to see, I can see, where she has her own little tag in the bag. That's so spiffy. I love it. And I love the drawstring. It's ruler. Someone asked me if I could actually use this as a ruler to measure my knitting, and I would say probably yes. That's backwards. There it is. I would say probably yes, but over time I think this is going to stretch. So probably not very long. You could use it as a ruler, but you just have to know it's a little bit off, right? So anyway, this is my Suburban Stitcher bag. These are my husband's socks. These are called the World Cup socks because we were watching the World Cup when I really started. I'm not kidding. Okay. I started knitting these at the Into the Wool retreat and just didn't feel like doing it. So I really knit the ribbing of the first sock and then put it away. So these are the World Cup socks. And they are knit out of Desert Vista Dye Works in the Electric Middle Schooler colorway. I love it. You know what I love about Desert Vista are these, where the dye breaks. Oh, I'm going back the wrong way. Where the dye breaks, right, like right here, and over here, and up here. I love that. I love that. It's right here too. Oops, right there. Yeah. It's the Electric Middle Schooler colorway. I actually bought it for myself, and then it came in the mail about 8 years ago. This may have been one of the very first real yarn. I'm not kidding. Not real yarn, but you know what I mean. Indie Dyer purchases was this one. It's before she was really, really popular. Like, really popular. It's before Susan B. Anderson talked about her, and the Yarn Harlot just talked about her, but she's great. She has an art fire shop. I'll link it. But it's the Electric Mills Glory colorway. And this is for a size 12 foot. It's 72 inches. It's the traditional, like the gusset heel, the heel flap. I tried the Afterthought and tried to convince myself that I loved it, and I don't. So I just do a traditional gusset heel flap. 72 stitches, size 1. Are they ones? I think they're not on that one. I think they're at ones. Yeah, they're ones. They're this is the second one, so that's my hoe, my finished one, and then this is the second one, and I just finished. I guess I should get really close, huh? I just finished. I'm almost done with the decreases from the gusset. So these are knit. I usually knit my socks on double points. I really like double points. But I thought I was hearing so many good things about the Addi Turbo sock rockets, or Addi sock rockets, that I bought a pair from Webb's. I love them. I do. I'm not a magic looper, like, for socks, but I really like these, and I think I'm gonna make it. It's good to have, like, needles that you love, especially, I knit a lot of socks. I just fell in love with knitting socks, and I always have a pair or 4 right now going on my needles, and so I love knitting socks, and so I'm thinking that these sock rockets and then my Knitter's Pride, which you'll see in a minute, double points, I really like those. So I think these are going to be the 2 needles that I really knit on. But yeah, these are sock rockets. They're 40-inch US 1. They have a super, there you are, they have a super awesome pointy tip. It's really important. And they literally just go. They're really quick. That's the sock rocket name, right? They're really quick. But yeah, hopefully I should be done with these next time I podcast. Because once I hit the foot, they're quick. Quick, quick, quick. And then I balled it up. No, that's the yarn in the ball. So awesome, huh? I love it. It's my last skein of that right now. Okay, there's that project. We're being on for 22 minutes. That's great. All right, so here's sweater number 1. I'm just going through my thing. I'm knitting not worsted. This is not worsted. I'm knitting the Boxy out by Joji Locatelli. And this, I cannot get this color to photograph right. I can't get it to show up right on my blog or anything like that. So it's not going to show up right. The colorway is, it's Madeline Tosh Merino Light. The first time I've knit with it. Madeline Tosh, 100% superwash fingering weight wool, 420 yards per skein. I think I bought 4 skeins. I'm on the 4th skein of it. I'm almost done with the sweater. And it's colorway Norway Spruce. I love teal. I love it right now. I'm in love with it. Lovey, lovey, lovey. And it's almost done. It looks really short, but it's superwash wool, so it's going to block out. It's going to stretch a lot. And I've actually tried it on and like tugged on it, and it's going to be a perfect, it's supposed to be a cropped sweater, but it's going to be a perfect, it's going to be a perfect length for just like cute, like a tank top and some jeans in the fall. It's going to be gorgeous. Anyway, let's see. This is my Boxy. Hold it back here so you can see it. I did not rotate skeins, alternate skeins. I'm lazy like that. And I think they did a really good job. I bought it from Eat Sleep Knit, and they did a really good job of matching the skeins. Like, I put them in the sunlight, and they really did match. And so I kind of just knew that whatever happened, happened, and I was okay. Now, this sweater has given me a fit the last couple weeks. A fit. First of all, this is supposed to have a collar, and it doesn't right now because I've ripped it out. It's actually the 4th time I've ripped it out. because the first 3 times I couldn't get the right pickup ratio. And the fourth time I picked it up and tried it on the other night after I did a sleeve and realized that my head is too big to fit through the hole. So I drip it out. And it's going in timeout because I'm just going to do an I-cord. Number one, I'm going to do an I-cord bind off or an I-cord edging around the collar, because one thing about Tosh Merino Light, and I was talking to Sarah from she's Mrs. Shoe everywhere. I met her at the Into the Bowl retreat. We've kept up, but I was talking to her, and she pointed out something really important, and that is that Tosh Merino Light is a single. It's a single. There is no ply to it. It's just a single, and it gets really fuzzy. You can actually see, if I can do it right, you can actually see the fuzziness. And so the more you pull on that, pull it out, rip it out, and knit it, and it just gets fuzzier. So instead of screwing with it, I'm just gonna pick up the neckband, the collar, and I'm just gonna do an I-cord edging and call it a day, because I don't really care. And nobody's gonna look at it and say, that doesn't really have a collar on it. It's gonna look fine, I think, because I'm so broad through here that I think it's gonna be perfect. And I'm not worried about it. That's just how it is. That's not being lazy, that's being practical. That's what Sarah said. So that's what I'm saying. I'm being practical. Now if doing the collar and having to rip it out 4 times was not enough, I picked up, so this is the sleeve. And the construction of the sweater is really kind of confusing for a new knitter, but it's, if you read it and just do what she tells you to do, then you realize that you're doing it right. Okay. But so the actual sleeve that you knit is only 6 inches. So this is the sleeve. This is what you pick up and knit, okay? It's knit on a size 4, US 4, and a size US 2.5. When I picked up the second sleeve, you're going to notice something. If I actually point it out to you, which I don't even think I will, it doesn't really matter. You're supposed to pick up the sleeve on the size 4, and when you get to the ribbing, you're supposed to do it on a 2.5. So I did that on the first sleeve. The second sleeve looks significantly smaller, right? That's because it's a freaking 2.5. I don't know. I mean, it's stockinette in the round. It should not be that hard, and it sucks. Anyway. So I knit the whole sleeve on a 2.5 and didn't realize it till last night when I went to go switch needles for the ribbing and realized that I was actually using the needle already that you're supposed to use for the ribbing. Oh well. So it's going to be in timeout for a little bit. I don't feel like ripping it out right now. I don't feel like picking out the bind off and ripping it. I don't care at this point. So it's just going to go in my basket down here in timeout. That's where it's going to go. It's going to stay there for a little bit. It's probably going to stay there until December when I'm just kidding. I really want to wear it to the Frolic, and I really want to wear it to SAF. You going to SAF in Nashville? Yeah. I really want to wear it there too, and so I need to just suck it up. But SAF is not until the end of October. So it's going in timeout for a little bit. That's where it will stay. And this is the yarn in the cake. It's so pretty. But look how fuzzy it is, right? It's so fuzzy. I love it. I'm so mad at that stupid sweater. Whatever. Anyway, and I am knitting it on my Knitter's Pride carbons. I bought a couple of pairs when I ordered from Webb's. Every once in a while I do a really big order from Webb's. I get a whole bunch of needles and a whole bunch of things that I need for spinning. Like extra bobbins and stuff like that, because they carry my bobbins at Webb's. And so I just decided I was going to order those needles for that sweater. And I love the needles. I love them. But they're Knitter's Pride carbons. Here's this is the 4. This is probably the 4. Yeah. 4. See, it's written on there. If you've never seen Knitter's Pride before, it's written on there. The carbons are pretty sharp, I think. The cable is great for magic looping if you magic loop. And yeah. It's carbon right here, so it doesn't, the stitches, I don't have words right now. The stitches don't slide back and forth and slide off, which has been great, because if stitches in that fingering weight boxy would have slid off, I would have cried. But anyway, I love these. I know a lot of people use them, but if you have a chance to try them and haven't, they're really... I heard a little one. They're $14.95, which is, I think, is a good price, especially if you're trying to especially if you're trying to get some that are a little bit better than Knit Picks. I'm a Knit Picks person. I love Knit Picks too. But for my needles, I'm starting to look for a new set of needles, and so I bought a couple of pairs of carbons to try them to see if that was the next set that I was going to buy. I'm still indecisive, but I do like them, especially for sweater knitting. So, and that sweater has been living in my Jan Smiley bag. She has an Etsy store. She also is the person that does the frolic. This bag is huge, huge. 4 skeins of Madeline Tosh and a boxy have lived in this since I started it at the Into the Wool retreat. So since May, I love it. I love the inside. Such a cute bag. Anyway, so I'll link her shop in the show notes too. I'm knitting. Okay. I'm also knitting a Magrathea. This is, I have needles coming out of my basket. I have my little knitting basket right here at my feet. I love my basket. I have a couple different knitting baskets. I have an old school vintagey one and then that one. I don't know where it came from, but I love it. So the Magrathea, y'all, such a great, let me see if I can actually get it to where you can see it. How about that? This is hard. You podcasters are pros. This is so hard. Just stretch it out and let you see it backwards. Here's my Magrathea. It's by Martina Baim. Baim is how you say her last name. Martina Baim. It's knit out of Flying Kettle, her glider base, I believe. It's an 80-20. Is it 80-20? I think it's an 80-20 superwash merino nylon. It's fingering weight. I love fingering weight. Oh, it's my favorite weight. I'm not lying. I have a lot of fingering weight. And 1 skeins too. Isn't that stupid? I have a couple sweater quantities of fingering weight yarn that actually have destinations. But I do love a fingering weight, a pretty thing. And it's in her Bookish Rogue colorway, which was actually a custom. I'm just going to keep showing it to you because of the speckles. The way the garter is beautiful. This right here, you can't see it. Yeah, right. Here we go. That's a Vintage Rose stitch marker. They're knit on my Knit Picks needles size 2, US 2. I'm not gonna lie, this pattern was very difficult to set up for me. It is only charted, which I don't know. I may have knit 1 or 2 other shawl patterns that are just charted for the lace, but I really struggled with this one, and I don't have a clue why. I'm knitting that with Mrs. Shoe, Sarah from the Innocent Knit podcast. We're doing this little knit along where we're doing the same pattern with the same dyer, and she's using a different colorway from the Flying Kettle, which I love the Flying Kettle's yarn. I have this skein, and then I have a skein of her Cassiopeia that I love. So go check her out. I'll put her in the show notes as well. It was really hard for me to set up, but once I did it, it was fine. I kept trying to move the marker, and moving the marker would cause this little lace section right here, down the middle right here. It was just crazy. And I shouldn't have been moving the marker. And I don't know what my problem was. I got through there's like 3 charts, I think. I got through the first chart, which is her setup chart, pretty easily. got into the body chart, which is just the same repeat over and over and over again until you get to the edging, the end of the shawl. And I just, for some reason, could not figure out why my pattern was off. It's because I was moving the marker, and I wasn't supposed to be. Because in her, I haven't knit that many charts, okay? So in her chart, she had the position, like she had the symbol and it was marked and it meant position of the marker. But it looked like she was moving the marker, and that was not the case. So if you have questions about, if you really, I love this pattern. I think the Fat Squirrel knit it. Amy Beth knit it from the Fat Squirrel podcast, and some of her yarn, which I have in my stash to knit. I was going to knit with it, and then I decided this one instead. I have notes on how I did it. So if you're going to knit it, I would look at my notes in Ravelry. It's just the Magrathea under my username, Mama Holmes. Go in there and look and read through it, because I had to like hunt for, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. And Sarah hadn't started the shawl yet, and I was in a hurry, and she was also having problems with the chart. So I don't know if it's just because she knits a lot of lace, so I don't know what the problem was. If it was just understanding the translation of the chart, because Martina Bim does do her patterns, I get, in several different languages, and so I don't know if that was what the issue was, and just that word position. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's fine now, and I love it. And it's so potato chippy that it's really quick to get through a repeat and get a little, I don't know what this is called. Get one of these little doohickeys, one of these, knit up, and then move on to the next one. I mean, it's like addicting. I haven't knit on this in a bit, but I wanted to share it with you because it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's gonna be perfect for the fall. And so I'm really wanting to get it knit quickly, but I'm trying to get other stuff off the needles too. You know, this is my feeling about my whole whips thing. I really want to tackle my whips. So to do that, the best thing to do is to A, knit on all your projects a little bit at a time, or B, pick a project, knit the heck out of it, finish it, move on to the next one. I'm thinking that B is probably the best method of attack for me in tackling my whips, but it's really hard when you have so many things on the needles, and everything is a little bit different, which is why I've casted it on. So I wanted a little bit of lace in my life. I wanted a shawl in my life. I wanted a sock in my life. I didn't want a self-striping sock. I wanted a variegated sock. So I cast, you see what I'm saying? It's just, yeah. So it's really hard to not want to knit on everything. But, and I can knit on this while Xander's playing, because it's just one little chart. And to be honest with you, once you get going, you kind of know where you're at in the chart. So you can just do it until you get to the end. I will share this in case you have not knit a hitchhiker, which I have not. That's my next one to cast on, I think. There's a little trick that she shares, or that someone shares. I don't know if it's her or not. I haven't looked in the pattern yet. And that is, y'all, I'm sorry, my nose is itching, but it's fall here, y'all. Quick. Yesterday was the first day of autumn, and I live in North Carolina, and the trees are already, they've been turning now for probably 2 weeks. You've been seeing like colors in the trees, but yesterday and today, it's like allergy central. I have bad allergies, and so I'm all itching and stuff. I'm so sorry if it's rude. I'm sorry. Anyway, so the tip to share, I'm like, shoo, today. Tip to share with you is, if you place a stitch marker, I don't know if you can see, this is a really small stitch marker, but if you place a stitch marker between, so on row 1, it's a knit front and back each row, okay? So if you place a stitch marker between the knit front and back, so it would really be, if you're knitting, it would really be between these 2 stitches, okay? Then that tells you what row you're on, because the number of stitches in front of this marker, so right here, is the row you're on, or starting. So I am starting, I just finished row 2, because there are 2 stitches in front of this marker. That's awesome. So I try to make sure I mark my pattern, but I don't have to stress out about it because I know that that knit front and back, that marker is going to tell me where I'm at. That's genius. So that's just a little tip for the Magrathea, but I'm pretty sure she mentions it in the Hitchhiker, but it's all over her forums, so it's public knowledge. It's not like a design feature. It's not like a design secret. So yes, the Magrathea, knit by Martina, or designed by Martina Behm. Next project is just a pair of plain vanilla socks. I have one. I'm knitting the second. I have a couple of hose. That's why I finished this one the other night, cast on the ribbing, and then went straight to my husband's sock. Because I was like, well, now I have a hoe for that one, so I'm halfway done. So I'm going to start the next one. So I did. I have a confession to make. And it might be kind of like sacrilegious in knitting. But don't tell anybody, okay? I think I'm a little over self-striping yarn. I know. You probably went, are you serious? Now, correct, let me say this. I do have a couple in my stash that I have not destashed. I had a ton of knit picks where I went crazy during the Felici sale because they were discontinuing it, and I swore by that yarn. I still love that yarn. However, I have way too much self-striping in my stash, and all of my socks right now, I think I have maybe 3 pairs that are just variegated. But I like the way variegated knits up. So I cast on this sock originally because I was kind of like trying to get myself prepared for the fact that, Kristen, you're done knitting self-striping for a little bit. So with that said, this is Unwind Yarn Company Wedding Orchids in her Journey sock base, I think. I'm pretty sure it's a Journey sock base. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I don't have the Honeymoon sock yet. By Dana of Unwind Yarn Company and half of the Just One More Row podcast. I love it. And it's my hoe. It's a hoe. Okay, anyway. Like I said, it's the traditional, like, it's top down. I knit all my socks top down. I've never tried toe up, never wanted to. Sorry. I am what I am, and I'm okay with that. So I use once again, the gusset heel. The gusset slip stitch. I usually knit about 2 to 3 inches of ribbing. I don't know why. I kind of like to use up as much yarn as possible, and so I try to do my cuffs and my legs pretty long because I wear them in boots too during the winter, and so I'm really weird about my socks not meeting the top of my boots. I mean, they are tucked into my jeans and my boots are on the outside of my jeans, but you get it. It's just how I am, and I can't apologize for that, so I'm not going to. But I also try to use as much yarn as possible. With that said, Dana's skeins are 400 yards. Most people's skeins are 400 yards, but for some reason I'm really paranoid that I'm not going to have enough for the second sock, which in that case I'll just order another skein. It's no big deal, because she does do customs. So this is her. Whoop, there it is. Wedding Orchid. It's gorgeous, huh? I'm not a pinky girl at all, but I love this. I love this yarn, and these are my carbon DPNs. See how it's not as pointy as Signatures, but it's pointy and I like it, and they're not expensive. They're not at all. So yeah, and for your information, let's see if you can see it, if I can do it right. It's on the, can't really read that because it is kind of worn now that I look at it, but it does say US 1 2.25 millimeter. I'm making sure I'm still recording. So anyway, so I've started the ribbing on the second sock. That's it. Isn't that easy? So easy. It's in my Stitched by Jessa Lou little box bag. I'm a huge Sherlock fan. Are you? Huge fan. Y'all, we love TV in our house, and we have Hulu because we don't have cable. We have Apple TV instead. And I got so excited because I got on my Hulu this morning, and all of our fall shows, minus Parenthood, which premieres tomorrow, debuted last night. Woohoo! So we're gonna have fall TV. I love TV, and it makes me so happy. But yeah, it's in my Sherlock bag. I love this bag. I love her. This little thing. That little thing is from, if you recognize the little ball, it's from Cakewalk Yarns, who's sadly no longer dying. She went away and never came back, and the dinner shop was closed, so I guess she's no longer dying, right? So yeah, I love this. I have a Shawls one somewhere. I don't know where it is. It might have been in a bag I destashed, so make sure you check your bags, because it might be in one of those. And then her little honeybee, her little dangly honeybee, so cute. Anyway, so yes, I love this bag. What else? What else? Okay, so that's all I'm currently knitting on. I do have a pomme de pin that needs sleeves, and it's going to be picked up as soon as I finish this boxy. Then I'm going to try to knit on my inland, which I didn't even bring out. It's my bulky weight sweater. It's by Jane Richmond. It's knit in Plymouth Encore Chunky. The yarn kills my hands. It's a wool acrylic mix. That's why. So I can only knit literally a couple. It's a chunky sweater. It should already be done. But it's not. It's not. The light, y'all, it's so cloudy today. I wonder if this would help. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, okay. Yes, finished. I'm trying to hurry it up because I've been talking for a while. It's 46 minutes over here. I have to remind myself that it is because it's my first episode. I don't really want them longer than an hour. I think that it's, I like podcasts that talk on forever, and if you're okay with that, that's fine. But at some point, I want you to be comfortable with just turning it off. And so I'm trying to aim for 45 minutes. With that said, I'm at 47 minutes right now, and so it's because I shared all that stuff before. Maybe when I edit some stuff out, if I edit some stuff out, it'll be a little bit shorter, but at 45 minutes, I really don't want to go past an hour because I'm just one person. So it's different if there's two people, but I don't want you to watch me forever. I love you, but not right now. Okay, so finished. I have not finished anything knitting wise. You can see why. I just shared 4 or 5 whips with you. That's why I haven't finished anything. I have some hose, but that's it. So my goal is to get my boxy finished. My goal is to get Sam's, my husband's, socks done. And then, let's just say we ain't going to get past that. That's plenty. And to get a good dent in some other projects. So we'll see what happens. I'm like prime grad school, like throes of grad school. My internship starts in January. So I have a ton of work that I'm doing right now to get in prep for that and to finish up the classes so that I can enroll for my internship or apply for my internship through the school. It'll be here in the city that I live, but my school is in Virginia, so I'm online. You don't really care about that. But that's just to say that I have a lot that I'm doing right now, so I'm going to try to have progress for you, right? Okay. You love my World Market cup? That's where it's from, is World Market. I love coffee cups. I'm obsessed with coffee cups, cute ones. I do want to talk about this really quickly. I'm going to share about this, and then I'm going to share about my purchase, and then I'm going to let you go, okay? So I'm letting you know I'm almost to an hour. We're probably about 10 more minutes, and then we're good, okay? This is my cedar leaf shawlette, and it's knit out of Fable Fibers, Biography DK, Dark Lagoon is the colorway, or Lagoon, but I think it was a darker batch, and so she named it, excuse me, she named it Dark Lagoon. So I love Fable Fibers. She's actually local to me. She's just like, she's in the Charlotte area, which I'm like an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what area of Charlotte you're in. I'm an hour to an hour and a half outside of Charlotte. So, yes. And it's my favorite. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites, and I wear it all the time. It's great for like if you're chilly in the morning, you just want to throw it around your neck. It's perfect. It's the pattern is by Alana Dakos of the Never Not Knitting podcast. Another podcast that I really started out listening to that I love and I still listen to. I'm a little bit behind, but I still listen to her. So, okay, purchases. Pardon the ruffle. I was listening to, let me take a swig of coffee. Hold on just a second. I was listening to the Knitting Butterflies podcast, and Spin Monkeys was doing a giveaway. I think she's doing a giveaway, but she also gave us a coupon code. So I don't know if it's still in or not. I think it is. I think it's good till the end of September. So go listen to Knitting Butterflies. I think it's her most recent podcast. It is her most recent podcast. There's a really good coupon code. It's a really good coupon code. So go listen to the podcast, use the coupon code, and give money to Tara from Spin Monkeys because she's gorgeous. I have some fiber of hers that I've not spun yet. But she's gorgeous colorways. Gorgeous colorways. And I went and was just kind of like, I had a little bit of extra money to spend, and I was like, you know, I don't have any of her yarn, so I think I'm gonna go look. And these two skeins just quick in my cart, and they're bought and purchased in like 5 minutes. When you see it and you know you see something good, you just get it. There is no, especially if you can do it, there is no thinking about it. You just do it and it's done. Coupon code's done. So I really love this. It was quick. I ordered this on a Monday, maybe. I got it in 2 days. And I can't remember where it ships from, but I live in North Carolina. So that was pretty quick shipping. And it could have just been one of those where I just caught it at the right time. She was getting ready to ship out orders, and I bought it right before it shipped, before shipping to the post office. I don't know, but it was super fast, super fast. And I think I remember her fiber. The fiber, I ordered 2 braids of fiber from her, and I think I remember the shipping being really quick as well. So if you're in the market for a good dyer, and fast shipping, Spin Monkeys, perfect. So here's her information. Tara Daly, Spin Monkeys, come on. She has an Etsy store. I'm pretty sure it's Etsy. So this first one is her Revolution sock. I think they're both Revolution sock. Yeah, they are. So it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I like the born on date. That's so cute. Colorway is jean jacket, 400 yards. It does look like a jean jacket, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love it. Love it, love it. Look at that color. I mean, I love the coppery tones right now because I'm more of an autumnal person. I do like jewel tones, but I love dark, saturated colors. And that copper, like brownish, oh my gosh, it just makes my heart sing. It's so beautiful. And this is so cute and so sweet that she does this. She adds a little stitch marker on her skeins. Isn't that perfect? I love it. I love that. I love little things like that. It came packaged so well. It was in this. It was wrapped up really cute with some yarn on each end. So sweet. I love people that they just don't throw it in the bag. That they really consider, like, that's what we buy from indies, right? That's what we buy from Etsy shops and things like that, because that's just an extra, like, to it. That's how I feel about it. Just an extra mwah to you. Thank you for shopping at my store. Thank you for giving me your money. Mwah. But yes, it's so beautiful. Spin Monkeys. And this is the jean jacket color. And I got another skein because I love me some sock yarn. This is the Cucumbers. Yeah, Cucumbers colorway. Cucumbers, born on 8/21/14. It also has It's a matching stitch mark. It's a matching stitch marker, isn't it? It's that thing. Pretty sure they match. That is even cuter. Thank you, Tara. That's so sweet. And then this. Oh gosh, this green. Yikes! So pretty. And it's washing it out. It's really vivid. It's really vivid in my hand. I love it. Super pretty. Just deeply, like, just saturated. Definitely a tonal color. Super squishy, super soft. I love it. I loved it. I'm so glad I bought it. I'm thinking this would make a gorgeous shawl. We'll see. I love fingering weight. It can be a shawl, it can be socks, it could be like, yeah, I love it. So Tara of Spin Monkeys, and I'll give you her card one more time. Spinmonkeys.net is her website, but I think it links you to an Etsy store. So yes. So wonderful. So wonderful. I'm so glad that I bought from her. Like I said, I'd never bought her yarn before, but I bought her fiber. So I think that's it, y'all. I'm so glad that you came to sit with me for a minute, for a long minute. It's been a minute, a hot minute, y'all. I'm so glad that you came to sit with me. I'm so sorry. I apologize for the lighting. I know some of you might even tell me that the lighting's an issue, but I am aware of it. You can contact me on Ravelry at Mama Holmes. I'm Mama Holmes there. And then Instagram, Mama Holmes NC. Friend me. My profile is open. It's public. But I tend to not follow you back on Instagram if you don't have anything, like, if I don't know you or know that you have something in common with me, like if you're just friending me to look at my stuff, then that's one thing. But if you're friending me like wanting to be involved, then you need to have something knitting related. I'm a Ravelry name or something in your Instagram so that I know you are not just stalking me. So Mama Holmes NC on Instagram, the Mrs. K Holmes on Twitter. And as soon as I get the Ravelry group up for House of Knitting podcast, then I will put that information on my blog, which is house-of-homes, HOLMES, at blogspot.com. Thanks so much for coming and sitting with me and coming into my home today. I can't wait to hear from you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.